We in the building, man. Swaggy C, Bayleigh, Swayleigh gang's in the building.
Hey.
How you feeling, man?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. She just took over the Challenges Instagram. We just finished watching the episode. We actually just bought a bunch of stuff for our dog that's coming in about 12 days. So it's a lot going on right now. But as we promised, we will get you a recap of the episode. And let's start from the beginning, which was Jay and Rogan. How do you feel about, production showing Jay still wanting to fight?
I was happy to see that because here's the thing. In Purgatory, you see that we're about 20 feet up. So we didn't get to see all of that. Like, we were sitting there in silence waiting for the outcome. And it was about 20, maybe 30
I was about to say, it was a little longer than that. Yeah,
it was
we was waiting.
a long time before we knew. We're like, what's going on? Like, is he hurt? We thought he broke his arm. So when they finally, told us he had a concussion, we were all, shook. Yeah. We're like, what? What does that even mean? And, we kind of hear, Rogan was like, oh, he didn't even remember what was going on. And I'm like, you're being dramatic. But, to see that Jay really was, out of it, that's scary. And it just it's not okay. Yeah,
it was very scary because, after we left Purgatory, usually when you get eliminated, go to a hotel, next day you go home. I want to say 2 or 3 days later, we're just in, the bunker, and we find out Jay just left doing his last interviews because he was in the hospital the whole time. I'm like, Jay just now left? The door that just closed, that was Jay walking out?
It's normally, quick.
Yeah,
you do your interviews, you're going
back to the crib, and he's been in the hospital the whole time with a concussion, so, Jay was, our boy, I love him, and the fact that he even, tried to fight,
he was fighting the whole entire season, so, that's one thing hats off to him because he had a great attitude. Yeah, he was a little sarcastic. He was, talking shit, but
I love him.
Talking his, but he did good.
He did amazing.
Yeah.
After that, I think it transitioned, correct me if I'm wrong, to Kayla and Bananas and West.
Yes. Okay.
Insane.
And here's the thing. It was a prank. But it was such a well thought out and manipulative prank that it could have only came from Bananas and West because Bananas is goofy and he does things, but normally Bananas is a kind of pull your pants down, run around naked kind of guy, and West is more the manipulative. So this combination was so goofy.
Yeah.
It was bad though.
Yeah, it was bad, but I don't think they took it too far. I don't think there's any rules or limits in the challenge house. And I think somebody of Kayla's caliber would know and understand that. It just sucks that it happened to her. But I think she knows, how far anybody can go with pranks in a challenge house. And that was just another one that has no limits. But
this one was next level. Because
next level, for sure.
Everybody was in on it. We didn't know what they were doing, but we knew the whole day. We saw Bananas and Wes going back and forth.
They came in our room and it was hey, we're doing something, a prank. Do you guys want to be a part of it? And we were
sure, we're
sure,
bored.
but we didn't go in the room. We was sure, and all right, meet us in the room, and we just didn't go in there.
We had no idea. And I thought, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is cute. Same, they set up fancy stuff, and we were all joking just because Kayla and Bear were still trying to act like they weren't a thing, but everybody knew they were a thing, so they were making it romantic for his bed because she's been spending some time there. But when we look up and see the photos of Mikey and the letters by her bed, I was like, whoa.
That was something where we was that caught off guard because it was a matter of we just saw the Bear, Kayla, and the flowers, whatever the case may be. We thought that was it. We look up, you see the pictures, we see the letters, and then we see Bear plus Kayla
plus K
minus Mikey. It's
hard,
bro, what?
Because come on. That was rough. So, but Bear
A+.
is such a goof. So he was completely come on, Kayla, let's do it. Chill out, But
for Kayla, I understand how embarrassing and rough that can be. The whole house is basically, looking at you. Yeah, laughing at your pain, knowing you're going through something serious back home, and knowing it's really, tough in your own mind. I don't know. I see both sides, but on Bananas and West's side, A+.
And
it's a prank.
Also, just a disclaimer, we didn't know that there was pictures or letters.
Oh, we didn't
were just coming to spectate. So it wasn't the whole house was just literally in on the joke. We just laughed at it.
I would say the majority of the house didn't know the intensity of the joke. We just knew it was something going on with Bear and Kayla. We didn't know the letters or the picture, none of that.
That was a shock factor.
That was a shocker. That's why I was this is bad. You know what I'm saying? But
okay, moving on next. So
after
Jenna and Zach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of drama in this episode. So Jenna and Zach. I have opinions about Jenna and Zach, especially because while I was there, I shared some things with Jenna. But I will say I'm very proud of Jenna because it's hard to say, but how do I explain this, babe? Oh, okay.
So say your real opinion.
Long story this is basically this. So when Zach was kind of saying, like, you need to come home, all or nothing, everybody was giving Jenna, like, these talks, like, don't let him manipulate you. You need to stay here, fight through.
Yeah.
He's being selfish. And Jenna was just like, you know what? I would say that he's being selfish, but this is stuff, you know, that I actually have done, and I didn't tell Zach about it. Because, you know, like, you kind of just, like, skip over the truth sometimes, or you kind of just is like, no, that didn't happen.
Especially if you're single, for sure.
So, exactly, especially when you're single. Like, you don't tell all the details. So she was just saying, like, he found out about it, and it is a big deal, and she knows how big of a deal that it's been for them. So I was just proud of her for taking accountability and realizing that, okay, it's not just Zach tripping out. It's something that I actually did to upset him, but now is not the proper time.
Now it's not the time at all. So, like, I was in the house, like I said, I heard it all. I don't, like I said, know Zach. I don't know their relationship, so I'm not going to comment on it. Like, I'm more mature than that. I will say, just from watching it, it just seems like a selfish time, just because, like, Zach, I believe, is a former champion. I haven't watched the challenge. Is he?
Yeah, I think so. He's a beast for sure.
Yeah, I know. He's legit. So he knows how intense that house is, and then he doesn't know that we're in a bunker in -5-degree weather in Prague, Czech Republic. So I just thought it was selfish on that part.
And I will say this, sorry that I'm, like, adding on. I will say Zach knows how emotional Jenna is over him. So he knew ignoring her calls, he knew saying what he said and how he said it was going to mentally F her up. So he was purposely trying to get her home.
Yeah.
And
so,
that was sucky.
Yeah, like I said, that part was selfish, in my opinion. As far as their relationship and finding stuff out, like, he's entitled to ask her questions, and she's entitled to do the same thing back and forth. In the real world, my only problem was, like I said, I'm not going to comment on their relationship. It was just in the challenge house, wrong timing. Like, she's fighting for $1 million for both of y'all. You know what I mean? And somebody who is has been in there for years, and I think won one. He should know. You know what I mean? But like I said, other than that, he's entitled to ask, questions. She's entitled to answer. In the real world, I just didn't like in the challenge house. But like I said, they're together now. They're engaged. Shout out to them. They're doing a lot better now, which is amazing.
If they forgave each other, that's all that matters.
That is the biggest key that you just said, because a lot of fans will hold it against Jenna and Zach for this incident or incidents that happened prior from the flashbacks I saw. You know what I'm saying? But, like, if they get over it, who are we to be like, you know what, he did this years ago or she did this years ago? Like, they're over it. Let them be happy and be over it, and then let us move on. Like, why are we judging people if they get over something? You know what I mean? People still bring up, oh yeah, Bayleigh screamed at Tyler, and it's just like, bro, it's 2 years ago. Like Bayleigh and Tyler cool now. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's the thing where I don't like about the fans, where, like, they will keep bringing stuff up, but it's another story for another day.
Yeah, we'll go on a rant.
Yeah, we'll go on a huge rant if we gotta talk about that.
Okay, so
next
after
story
that,
was,
but that leads into Jenna wanting to go home. So that's where, like, all of these, like, theories came from, because, so long story short, Jenna obviously was very vocal about Zach wanting her to come home. She wanted to go home. She wanted to just quit, but everybody was trying to kind of guilt tripping her. So she's like, I'll at least try the challenge. I want to go into elimination for sure, though, because I need to know if, I'm going to go home or not. So she was kind of like, everybody knew Jenna was the option to go into elimination. So that's why during the challenge fest, he's like, I'm not really excited to be paired up with Jenna, because we know she's going to, whatever. We know that Nani, Jenna, and Kayla are all best friends. So they had this plan that nobody really knew about because they didn't share it with anybody. So everybody's kind of doing their mental guessing of what the plan is. And that's how so many theories got tossed around.
Yeah. Before we get into the challenge, they showed a clip of me, you, and Wes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't forget about that. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. Okay, so I was kind of worried about how that was gonna, like, play out and look, because it is, Wes always says, like, I network with all the rookies, and he does, and we were, like, very kind of hesitant, because we didn't want it to look like Wes was just, like, playing us as rookies. We actually wanted to kind of establish our friendship outside of the challenge house. So I'm happy that they showed that it's like, no, Wes is not manipulating us as rookies. We knew him from Kansas City. That's where I'm from. We've met up. We know.
Yeah, our
family,
story is a little bit different than Wes. I'm gonna break it down right here, and feel free to chime in. So me and Bayleigh lived in Lee Summit, Missouri. We had a house there, and Wes lived about 15 minutes away. A fan actually DM'd Bayleigh and was like, did you know that, Wes Bergman lives in your city? I never watched the challenge. I think you have, so you knew. Yeah, so she knew who he was. I didn't know. So Bayleigh, DM'd Wes and was like, hey, we're in the same city, we should meet up. So I want to say that next week.
And this was like straight off of Big Brother. So when I say not a challenge conversation,
I didn't even nothing.
We didn't even know we would even get recruited for the challenge.
Nothing.
Like, not even a clue.
This was a whole year and some change ago. You know what I mean? So we met up at a bar, I believe.
Yeah, we met up at a bar and ended up loving each other so much that we moved to a restaurant and then another bar, and like we
was
spent
out all
night together because I love his wife. And him and Swaggy clicked because they're both nerds.
Yeah.
Who like to talk about stuff.
So Bayleigh and Amanda, which is Wes's wife, actually got really close, and like they were talking all night, and me and Wes were talking all night, and me and Wes realized like we just met that. When I went to that dinner, I had no idea.
Can I say this?
What?
I feel like they're the white version of us. Is that allowed?
Yeah, no, I don't care about that. Yeah, like they're dope. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea what to expect. I was like, all right, what you mean, somebody from TV? Cool. When I say me and Wes talked for 6 to 7 hours straight, we had a lot in common. And then obviously Bayleigh and Amanda had a lot in common.
Yoga teachers.
Yeah.
Crazy intellectual husbands. Like we just had the time of our lives.
And then me and Wes have like the business aspect. I'm not going to get into that aspect because that was what like formulates our friendship on a deeper root. They probably will expose that maybe later on the show. But me and Wes, after that, we hung out every week after that, like doing meetings together, business meetings and stuff. But we'll get into that another time. But that's, long story short, back to the point, that's how we knew Wes wasn't like manipulating us as rookies like everybody else does. Like, there's a lot going on the back end, but we'll talk about that in another video. As far as the actual challenge, how'd you feel walking out there seeing Fast and Furious and like us climbing stuff in negative 5-degree weather? I don't think they show that, like how cold it is and how freezing it really is. How'd you feel about that?
Okay, so one, it was freezing cold. That's that. But I was particularly excited about this challenge because one, I like puzzles. I'm actually really good at puzzles. Two, I like to climb things. And three, Fast and Furious is my favorite all-time series, and it always has been. So I've always dreamed of like doing this kind of stuff. And plus, I want to be in movies later where I'm fighting crime and being a superhero.
Right.
So this was like my challenge. It wasn't even on no cocky stuff. I just knew that this was like a challenge that was made for me, if anyone ever was.
Yeah, so I started off the challenge with D against Jordan and Nani. I'm coming off of winning 3 out of the last 4 tribunals. So I'm like, all right, let me win the 4th one. And then obviously Bayleigh can be safe. Or hopefully she can win, I think, her 2nd out of the last 3 or something like that. So she can be safe as well. Either or, I want to win this. Me and D's strategy was kind of messed up because after watching the footage, Jordan and Nani kind of went at the same time. And then maybe one went down to the other. D sat there while I got my 5, and then I sat there while she got her 5, and then by the time we got all 10, Jordan and Nani was done. Yeah, so like we obviously our strategy was terrible, but shout out to Jordan and Nani for that first one. A little like disclaimer, after that first one, we're all in the tent and we can kind of see, you know, murmurs going around. And like me and Bayleigh kind of felt like, you know, before Bayleigh and Jordan even went, we kind of felt like, you know, Nani was going to be in Jordan's ear saying, you know what, like, don't tell Bayleigh anything or throw her.
It was 100%. Like, Jordan wouldn't even make eye contact with me for the whole entire thing. And you see that we went last. So I was over here like, hey, Jordan, let's get a strategy. Him and Nani went first. He would not even speak to me. He's like, I don't want them to see us talking. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is I'm like, what the heck? What is happening?
Yeah, so I want to say midway, maybe after Nelson and Anissa went, we actually pulled Tori aside and was like, yo, like, is Jordan, or I don't know if you were there, I think I pulled her aside, is Jordan gonna throw this? And she was like, no, like, he's definitely not gonna throw this because, you know, we know that if Bayleigh and Jordan win, you guys will 100% pull me in, as in Tori, and if Nani wins, she, you know, may or may not pull me in. So we want Bayleigh and Jordan to win. So I'm like, all right, cool, we lit, shook her hand, cool, whatever, boom. And I don't think Tori was lying at all. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't think Tori was lying
at all. So
even Jordan, so before we went, and this is like all BTS, but before we went, like no talks or anything, maybe like 2 seconds before they're like ready to strap us up, he walks by me and he's like, hey, I have a strategy. I think it'll be faster than Nani's. Just follow my lead, do exactly as I say. So I'm like, okay, bet, maybe he is going to be in this challenge.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can talk about, like, that. I wasn't there.
Okay, but yeah. So we get harnessed up, you know, we're going. And so we start at the same exact time. And he's like, just swing, get the ones in the middle first. And then I'm going to go all the way down. You go all the way up. So I'm like, okay, I'm long. So I get all of my bottom pieces. And he's like, go all the way to the top, all the way to the top. But in order for him to get down to his pieces, I have to literally go all the way up to the top. And I couldn't get my last 2 pieces. So I'm like, all the way up. He's like, yeah, go all the way up. So I hang off the side of the truck and get my top piece because I'm long enough to do it. And then he's bolting up. So I'm like, I still have one more piece. And he's like, oh, okay, go get it. So I go down, I grab my piece, and obviously y'all saw it didn't take that long. I wish I would have got it on the way up, but it didn't take that long. We still had ample time to finish our puzzle. So I hate that on the show, he was like, I'm waiting for Bayleigh to have input and she has none. That's BS, because every time I put a piece up, he's like, no, that's not how it goes, take it down. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just holding pieces, waiting for him to tell me where to go, because he's already done it before. And he ends up literally getting so confused that we don't finish the thing. And I get pissed because I'm like, you told me that you had this. You told me you did the puzzle before. Why are you not, like, I don't understand. I'm literally doing everything you say. You didn't even let me try the puzzle because you had it under control. So I was just frustrated with Jordan. So when I expressed that and I was like, hey, like I am good at puzzles. This was my challenge to when I was really excited about it. He just attacks me and he's just like, well, if you were so good at puzzles, then why did you have to miss a piece? And if you were so good at this, Nani fucking smoked you. Oh crap, that's what he said. Sorry, but Nani smoked you in the, the competition. And so it sucked because I did feel belittled. I did feel like he was just like speaking down to me, and I don't like to be talked to like that. So I did snap at him because I don't know who he was talking to, but I'm not the one. And that's kind of Jordan and I's relationship in the house so far.
Yeah, do you think, I actually think I think he took it so far for sure, but do you think he snapped because of what you said about Jenna beforehand? Sorry, the last video cut out because of storage, but we're going to pick right back up. Yeah. So do you think, Jordan kind of snapped? Again, like I don't agree with how he snapped, but do you think he snapped because you said he threw the competition?
Absolutely. So I accused Jordan of throwing the competition for wanting to win with Nani over me, just because of the way that he was treating me the whole day and the way that Nani and them were treating me. Like I had good kind of conversations with them up until this point, and then all of a sudden nobody was speaking to me, so I felt very like isolated. Plus I had already promised him, I'm like, if we win this, I'll pull Tori in. I don't care. It's not about me going in. I don't even want a red skull right now. I just want to stay safe. And I think he knew that. So he snapped because I accused him of, plotting with Nani. Which at the time, again,
you're not. I'm about to say
I really felt
you're
like
not wrong, because, like I said, I don't agree with his reaction, but I do think his reaction came from you accusing him. But at the time, you're not wrong for doing that, because everybody thought.
But let me say this. That's absolutely true. Let me say this. I was quiet. So like on the truck, I was quiet, and he's like, Bayleigh, I'm so sorry. Like I just didn't do it for us. Like I'm so sorry. And I'm like, And he's like, Bayleigh, like talk to me. And I'm like, nothing. Get to the interview. He talks for 5 minutes straight. So I'm like, Bayleigh, do you have anything to say? I'm like, nope. And they're like, come on, share your thoughts. I'm like, I don't have any thoughts. And they're like, tell us what you really think is going on. So I went off and I was like, this is what I think is going on. There's something going on with Jenna, blah, blah, blah. And then he snaps. And so I'm like, this is why I didn't want to talk to y'all, because I already knew this is what the reaction would be. I was trying to be quiet. I was trying to keep the peace, but fights happen. So.
Yeah, so it's water under the bridge.
Absolutely.
That's the quote?
Me and Jordan, and I'll say this.
That's the quote.
But no, Jordan, there is water under the bridge. What I say to this, Jordan is a passionate person, and he really talks to everybody the same. It doesn't matter who you are in his life. So regardless of if you're really close to him or you're not, he's going to come at you the same way. But I'm not about to be sitting back and letting him talk to me crazy and crying while he yelling at me on camera. No, I'm gonna go and cuss you out. So,
Factual. Yeah. So, and I said, like, I agree, because it's hard when you're in that bunker, how cold it is. You don't know everybody's intentions and strategies. So like, it is hard on both ends. Like I said, I understand it. When it happened, we don't know what happens next week. Obviously, we'll wait for that. But before they announced Jordan and Nani, we're gonna win, Bayleigh was, very upset. And like I said, like, it's hard for me being very, very logical, because I have a wife, you know what I mean? And who I have to protect and make sure her emotions are valid and feels good.
Yeah.
But we're also there for $1 million as well. So like, I remember coming to her and being like, hey, like, what's going on? She's telling me about with Jordan. I'm like, okay, cool. Just stop crying. Understand we're here for $1 million. Just suck it up.
Said, suck it up.
I said, like, listen, just suck it up. We're here for $1 million. Like, we don't want you to be like have a target on your back. Let Nani have her fun. We'll win next week. And then that was the wrong thing to say as a husband. You know what I'm saying? Because she got upset, and then
started screaming at him.
Yeah. So like it was funny, because like I said, like when you're going through all those emotions, you don't know how people feel, whether it's Bayleigh, whether it's myself, whether it's Jordan, or even Nelson and Anissa. We don't know. So I wouldn't judge anybody for how they come off on TV, such as, you know, Bayleigh, like MTV making her seem like, oh, she just stood there and just watched. That is false. Or like Jordan just spazzing, you know, for no reason. Both had, you know, tension. You know what I mean? So it's just like a lot of viewpoints.
Yeah, and he was stressed out because it was Girls' Day and he was trying to get Tori. You know, so there's different things. Both of us, like, that's why we connect and that's why we fight too, because we're both couples. So this day was just as important for Jordan as it was for me. And that's why he was going so hard and there was so much. So
now there's one thing I want to say. I don't even know if you know this, so you'll respond live on camera. But I see some fans who are our fans or Bayleigh's fans, and they are going under Jordan's Instagram, his business Instagram, or on Google, and are rating it 1 star out of 5 and saying he's this and he's that. Let me put it out there. If you are a fan of mine or Bayleigh and you're trying to purposely ruin somebody's business and giving them bad reviews, you're not a fan. We are.
Don't do that.
Please don't do that. We are not, you know, responsible or capable for that. Like, we are all making a living and doing fine outside. You guys take it way too far.
Yeah, it's not real life.
We're
at
not
a
real
challenge.
life.
I was mad at him because I was hanging off of a semi. We're not, like, you can't.
We just talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, you can't bring that back into real life.
Don't.
Yeah.
So that's a disclaimer. Other than that, how excited are you for next week? And the trailer too.
Wait.
Did you see it?
What happened?
Oh no, you was tweeting.
I didn't see the trailer.
So they did a trailer, but it wasn't next week's trailer. It was for the rest of the season.
Oh.
It was like a quick.
Want to show it to me?
Yeah, it was a quick 45-second trailer.
Yeah, show it to me.
Want to show it? Do they have it on here? I don't know if they have it on Twitter or anything.
Where was it at?
It was on like the episode, like after it ended. It was like, okay, for the rest of the season, another challenge, and it just came on.
Well, what happened?
It was just they had a clip of you crying after the fight. They had a clip of
crying.
Yeah, he was on the floor like, I'm done with this house. Like I ain't like
at the
crazy.
bar.
No. You had it was like blue, but like the orange on the sides.
Okay.
Yeah, so you had that. Then they had
I was crying a lot this season, y'all. So y'all gonna get tired of my crying.
They had Nani. I think it was Nani and Anissa fighting at the bar.
Oh yeah.
They had Kyle and Nelson fighting.
What were they fighting over?
We gotta wait to see that. Kyle and Nelson. They had like, a bunch of stuff in the trailer. I gotta show you afterwards. But I'll just talk since you didn't see it. I'm excited, I guess, for the rest of the season. Every Wednesday, 8/7 Central, MTV. You guys will have a good rest of the season. And you can expect me and Bayleigh to give you our honest opinions afterwards on the Swayleigh Gang channel.
Always keeping it real right here.
Always. Anything else you want to say, babe?
Make sure y'all like and subscribe and comment and just keep riding with us. Swayleigh Gang for life.
Love y'all. Gang.